Every time meals were served in the prison, the inmates would seize the opportunity to pour an unknown white powder into the food. They would quickly stir it a few times and wait for their target to appear. As soon as the target showed up, they dumped all the poisoned porridge onto the fat man's tray. Unexpectedly, the fat man complained that it wasn't enough and asked the server to give him more. The man serving the food revealed a sinister smile. At this moment, the fat man had no idea that this would be his last meal. He walked to the table and took up space meant for 3 people with his enormous body. Then he began devouring the food ravenously. Even the spoon looked tiny in his massive hand. But after eating half a basin of rice, the fat man suddenly felt a wave of nausea. The man kept watching his reaction closely. The next second, the fat man vomited everything he had eaten. A sharp, drilling pain shot through his throat. He could no longer hold on and collapsed onto the bench, dead. Although the doctor tried his best to resuscitate him, the fat man's life could not be saved. The prison quickly called the guards to arrange a large box and take the body out to the wilderness for burial. However, when the guards brought several prisoners to the burial site, the prison doctor discovered the fat man's corpse again inside the storage room. This was exactly the first step of the man's plan. To escape from prison, the inmates had carefully staged a murder. They first poisoned the food and killed the largest prisoner in the jail, the fat man. Then, while the doctor wasn't paying attention, they hid the fat man's body in the storage cabinet. They successfully replaced him and followed the vehicle transporting the body to a remote cemetery. Just as the guards were about to bury the coffin, several prisoners suddenly burst out from inside it. They quickly subdued the guards, snatched the pastor's car keys, stepped on the gas, and drove away. However, the police soon launched an investigation. Using the tracking system, they located the vehicle the escapees were driving. But when the officers arrived at the destination, they didn't find the prisoners. Instead, they found a cold corpse. It was the guard who had been knocked unconscious earlier. Meanwhile, 2 of the escapees had car trouble during their getaway. With the police right behind them, they hurriedly hid in a nearby village. Soon, detectives arrived at the village holding portraits of the fugitives. When they saw the nervous expression of the pharmacy doctor, one detective sensed something was wrong. He spotted the 2 escapees hiding under the medicine cabinet through a reflection in the mirror. Surprisingly, the detective did not arrest them immediately. Instead, he wrote a note instructing the doctor to continue playing along with the escapees. He then rushed outside to call for backup from nearby team members. However, just as the police surrounded the pharmacy, the escapees became alert. Despite the officers approaching with extreme caution, a fierce shootout erupted. The entire pharmacy was shot up and left in ruins. Detective Blake was hit by a bullet because he couldn't dodge in time. Fortunately, his bulletproof vest saved his life, but he never expected his teammate to make a stupid decision right then. The 2 escapees took the pharmacy owner hostage and engaged in a fierce gunfight with the police. During the confrontation, Detective Blake was accidentally hit again. The escapees originally planned to spare him, but Blake's teammate suddenly shouted, which instantly enraged them. They fired multiple shots at Blake. Immediately after, the escapees took hostages and tried to escape through the back door of the pharmacy. However, a female detective had already blocked the rear exit with her vehicle. Seeing this, the escapees used the hostages to threaten her and ordered her to move the car. After the female detective moved her car, the escapees immediately pointed guns at her and demanded the car keys. By the time their teammates from inside the pharmacy rushed out, the escapees had already driven away. However, just when everyone thought the 2 fugitives would lie low, the next day they robbed a house. They tied up the homeowner and used a red-hot iron clamp to force him to reveal the safe's password. But the homeowner turned out to be extremely greedy. He would rather die than give up the code. In the end, as his flesh sizzled under the intense heat, the homeowner finally revealed the password. After the 2 escapees stuffed all the money into bags, one of them went outside to get the car. As soon as he stepped out, he was arrested on the spot by waiting detectives. Because of the commotion, the escapee still inside the house heard the noise. He immediately took the homeowner hostage and rushed out. Just as he demanded that all the officers lower their guns, a hot woman suddenly appeared at the scene. She was the escapee's girlfriend. Seeing his beloved woman in front of him, the man instantly changed. Love was clearly his weakness. After listening to her, the man finally regained his senses, slowly put down his weapon, and was arrested again under his girlfriend's influence. His accomplice on the ground was also taken away in a police car.